What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be working on my 1939 Chevrolet Rat Rod truck. But before we get to that, if you're not subscribed, be sure you click that subscribe button so you can follow along with everything that I do. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this truck as it appeared in some of my early videos, such as the one where I repaired the grill shell, I did some front end work, and I also made some fat white wall tires. Now, being that it's been about 10 years since I put this thing together and it spends most of its time outside, some work obviously needs to be done. So one thing that does need some work is the driver's side door area, and that's what I'm going to work on today. So I've got the rat rod here in the shop, and there's a few issues that I want to address that have been problems for a while, and that is some of the issues with the door. Now, as you can see, I have the door off and I have it over here on the fender stand so I can do some work to it. Now, a few months ago I actually added a door handle to this door so I can actually have a working door handle. I had this kind of janky kind of latch thing going on here in the middle, but that's just what I had to use for the time being. But I actually do have the actual factory door latch and handle, and it works great. But now I'm having an alignment issue, and I've kind of always had that alignment issue, and it's due to some of this rust on the door and some of this door skin area. Now I'm going to do some work here, and as you can see, this door is not in the best of shape, but you got to keep in mind this is a rat rod. We're not doing a full restoration on this thing. We're basically just letting it live out the rest of its life. I think I'm going to rebuild this piece here. I never did anything with that. I just kind of put the door panel on there and let it go. But I'm going to address this here and try to strengthen up the door because it is kind of flexy. And a lot of that has to do with where the skin's broke loose over here. Might be kind of hard to see, but this skin is actually loosened up. And what it's actually doing is letting this hinge piece kind of move while it's there, and the door drops down, and that's not a good thing. And you can see where I've tacked here along this edge. I'm going to try to work here and do some work here, and like I said, I'm going to build this edge up. Now here's a brace that I've been up in the sheet metal brake, and I've got it treated and all welded in, and this thing turned out great. Now the door is nice and solid. We don't have any flex over here at the hinge area like we had before, and part of that's because of the brace, but also I've done some work here, tacked this edge where the skin meets the frame, and that's kind of tightened up the door too. So now I did have to come over here and do some tweaking on the hinges on the cab to get the door to fit right in the right spot so it wasn't sagging quite as bad as it was before. And it's working out pretty good, but I do still have other issues. One being, you see this ratchet strap here. This is holding the front cowl section to the back of the cab, and that's because this rocker section down here, it's there and it's actually bolted in with these bolts here, but this is original and this is not really doing a good job of holding these two pieces together. As you can see here, I've got the skin right here on the cowl has broken loose. I'm going to need to tack weld that back down, and this is just a few of the little issues that I want to kind of tackle on this thing while I got it at the shop and I've got access to my welder. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on this cowl area here, and I'm going to go ahead and fix these broken spot welds and get this back to where it needs to be. With this area all welded up and treated, we can go ahead and put the door back on and see how well it fits. the door gap in the front looks a lot better than it did before, and of course the black paint kind of brought it out, so it kind of does stand out a little bit more now. And here in the back, the gap looks good all the way down to the bottom there, and the door opens and closes pretty easily, a lot better than it did before. Now I do still have a little bit of sag, maybe 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch there, but I can live with that as long as the door is latching and it's nice and tight and I don't have any issues there. So the next spot we're going to work on is down here where you see this ratchet strap. So this ratchet strap is actually pulling tension between the cowl area and the rear cab corner back here, and it's pulling it together, and that's what's creating our door gaps. Now if I take the tension off of this strap, we're going to lose a door gap and it's going to fall back, and I want to keep it right where it's at. And the only thing holding it is this piece down here. Now this is the factory inner rocker, and as you can see, it's not very good. So I believe I'm going to cut that out, and I've got some steel, and I'm going to weld a piece in there and brace it up so we can hold this position. So to do that, I'm going to need to take the door back off. I'm going to need to take the seat out so I can work in this area. With the door, the seat, and the floor pan section removed, which it bolts in, you can see what we're working with a little bit better. Now here's the original piece, and the inside of this originally was wood. So I'm going to cut this thing out, and what I'm going to put in there is some 1x2 square tubing. I believe this is 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to measure from this point to this point and cut that piece, and then we'll have it ready and we can cut this piece out and get it welded in. So our tubing's tacked in, and I've checked the door fitment once again by installing the door and removing it, and now it's time to weld it up solid. Well, the square tubing's all welded in, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Now I did come in here and add a bracket, and what that'll do is it'll allow me to brace this outer section to the middle section, and as you can see, it's nice and strong. There's not a lot of movement there, so I'm really happy with the way this has turned out, and this should solve most of our door opening and closing issues. So with some rust preventative paint and our floor pan section back in, it's time to put this thing back together. So there you have it. The door is back on, and as you can see, the door opens and closes really easy, and it is really solid. If you listen, it sounds really solid. And if you look, we've actually lost most of our sag, so sag is very minimal. I'm pretty happy with the way this has turned out, and that's one project down on this rat rod. So the repairs made to this door area has added a little bit more life to this old truck, and has definitely made it a little bit more user friendly. So until next time, I'd like to say thank you for watching. Be sure to check out all my other videos on all my other projects, and be sure you're subscribed to this channel by clicking the subscribe button and click the bell so you'll get the notifications, and you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram.